All right.
Welcome to Cornerhouse 716. That's what we called it. Cornerhouse 716, super original name because it's on a busy street corner. And a lot of people say, why did we build a house on a busy street corner?
And
well, a couple of reasons,
what do
right?
we say? We usually say we love to think outside the box, even though we literally build with boxes. Okay, but we like to think outside the box. We like to be creative. We like to think of something different. So when we originally saw this lot that nobody wanted, because like Jeremy said, it was on a corner, it's an odd shaped lot, we thought, wouldn't it be cool, number one, to have a model home where lots of people can see, it's easy to get to, it's less than a mile from the 290.
And super unique looking.
And super unique, and really it's almost like a billboard just to show the types of homes, the different things that we can do. And it's done exactly that. We've certainly got a lot of
attention,
feedback, interesting comments.
It's easy to see, it's easy to remember, you know, if you see it.
And some people say, I really love that, that looks so cool. And other people say, that looks weird. Why does it look like that? I would never build a home like that. With a very modern home, you can kind of get two different feelings, right? Like people who really love it, or people who are like, no, I don't like those modern looking homes. And that's the great thing about building custom.
So let's talk a little bit about this home. Yes. So this home is part of the City Series design that we put together. And the City Series is basically it's a mono roof design style, a lot of dark colors, dark windows, like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, instantly it takes 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's a good frame. So the City Series design of plans or portfolio plans have, you know, dark colors, bold colors, black windows, black steel roof, mono pitched or roofed, and so you have a roof line that doesn't intersect, or like on this one, this is a 2-box, 2-story. And one of the genesis of the idea for this is that we get a lot of interest for infill projects, people who are building you know, like the west side of Buffalo, or, you know, in a narrow lot in Ithaca, and the lot might only be 30 wide. Well, you can't put a very big house on a 30 wide lot. You know, you have to be off of the side lot lines a certain distance. And so this house is 15 wide. It's 1 box on the bottom, 15 wide by 50 deep. And then it's 15 wide by 50 deep on the second floor. So we have 2 boxes, a 2-box, 2-story, and the roof is a mono pitched roof. And then we have a full basement, 9-foot basement, 9 foot on the first floor. And so in the end, you've got 750 square feet per floor. And so you have 2,250 square feet total with the finished basement. This one has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2 living rooms, dining room, and office area. That's right, office area upstairs, which could have been a 3rd bedroom upstairs. We put the 3rd bedroom in the basement.
Second floor laundry.
Second floor laundry, and then we site built the garage and the porch. And that's really where you can get creative with your design of house, is how the porch and the garage interact with the house. That's always where you get the most creative with your architectural design. This house looks great just on its own without a garage, like we did for a build to rent on the west side of Buffalo recently. But when you attach the garage and have a step back with sort of a causeway, or what do they call it, a dog trot sometimes, some people like to call that.
I like the English word.
That's
dog
right.
Trot.
You can really accentuate the modern design style. And then that's outside, carbon, it's like a gray, it's called carbon, like a black siding, vertical board and batten siding, black windows, loads of windows, but not just loads of windows. We have windows that are kind of strategically placed. And so the front of the house has a lot of windows, which on this corner would be a bit of a fishbowl. So we tinted the windows. And so from the outside, you can't see in.
Yeah, it's great.
But from the inside, you can see out and still have privacy. And then of course we have motorized blinds and stuff like that as well. But the other thing is you've got a lot of windows placed where you don't have anyone that could potentially see in. And so 3 windows on a big kitchen as opposed to the standard 1. 8-foot by 8-foot sliders, and then you'll see as we go around there's little transom windows that we placed where you otherwise might not put a window, but that just brings in some more natural light.
Yep.
So that's sort of the overall outside design with windows and siding and stuff. And then I tasked, Nia, you took up the mantle on trying to take that vision inside with the interior design. So maybe why don't you start with the kitchen and how you designed that, how we designed that with the cabinets, the flooring, and then how you built around that with the furniture.
Yeah, so we like to tag team projects. And what Jeremy said, on the outside, you see a very modern design. But then on the inside, I didn't want it to feel modern and stark. I personally tend to lean towards minimalism now that I have 3 children and there's tons of clutter. I find that when I go somewhere and there isn't clutter and it's just the right amount of stuff, it actually puts my mind at ease. So inside, I wanted to do transitional. I wanted to have some modern touches, of course, because that's the way that the house was built. But I also wanted to be somewhat traditional and warm and cozy because I wanted you to feel that this was home and that this wasn't, more institutionalized feeling. So that's why we chose to go with this darker Kona color cabinet. But you can see that it has thin lines, and we just went with a thin pull here on the cabinets just to have a more minimalist feel. I love the color of this quartz. I just absolutely love, look how big this island is. It's one of the longest islands that I've seen. And if you're someone like me who loves to entertain, who loves to have their family over, their friends, think of all the appetizers you could fit on this counter. And there's even great seating. Now it's only showing 2 stools, but you can get a 3rd stool on this side, and then the same on the other side. You can fit 3 bar stools. We have a ton of appliances. We kind of just went with some black, some gold, and I was tasked with an interesting, I was again trying to think outside the box, and there was this big space above the windows. And I thought, what is something like a feature wall, something that we could do that would be really neat for design, but also add that coziness, the warmness. Now I have a black thumb, so I'm not going to try to put real plants in here. I think Jonathan and his wife gave me a plant. I don't even know if it's still alive a week later. So I'm terrible at it. So I went with faux succulents, and I thought, what if we just did hanging faux succulents? So I really liked the way that this came out. It was a super simple thing, all via Amazon. You can do this at home. And then I just love that the space that we have. Now, one interesting thing is that there's not a lot of upper cabinets. So you might be thinking, where am I putting my cups, my plates? And I had some friends over to kind of walk them through, and they're like, that's interesting. I didn't think about using drawers more for my cups and plates. So if you notice here, right, I'm using drawers primarily for my coffee cups, for my drinking cups, and then in here for your plates. So even if you don't have a ton of uppers, you can get really creative in how you use these lower cabinets.
How do they not slip around when you open them up? Show about the little rubber mats that we put in.
Oh yeah, so we just put
that Granny used to use.
Exactly.
My grandmother used to use.
We just have some
cabinet
liners. I think we got these at IKEA, right? So you put those down, and you can just they're not going to slip around and move around on you. So there's a ton of counter space for all of your appliances. And I just love the color of this. Oh, fun fact. Do you want to hear it? I went to pick out the countertops, and I really like these counters. I was like, you know what? I think I like those. And he said, hey, fun fact. We just put these in Josh Allen's kitchen. So I just felt like it was a sign, Buffalo, we have the winning, well, I say winning. We're hopeful. This is the year, right, Buffalo? We say it every year. This is the year. But I think because we have Josh Allen's countertops, we're going to have a great year this year for the Bills. Let's go, Bills. Okay. So let's move into what? The dining room space.
Well, it's a great, the island is such a unique feature of this house. It's really almost the centerpiece of this whole, it really is the centerpiece of the whole first floor. And the reason why it's narrow is because you need this, you have your stairwell on one side, you obviously have your wall cabinets on the other side. You need at least 36 inches for a walkway. So you can't have the traditional overhang with stools. You wouldn't be able to get by if people are sitting on the stools. And so we made these custom legs on each end, and we just, like Nia said, we just hung the countertop over on either end. And I think it turns out really well. I think when you're thinking about a floor plan, flow and movement in the house is really important to think about. And so what happens here is you've got an area here which is sort of a gathering point. You've got obviously the living room. The living room and this gathering point sort of come together. But then on the other end of the island, you obviously would be, working through the kitchen here. But this point on the island comes over to the dining room. And so this sort of becomes another natural gathering point, you know, 2 in 1. And I think that allows for really good flow in what is, you know, not a huge space, but I think it's done and laid out well so that it lives bigger than it is.
Absolutely, and there's lots of wiggle room with how you lay this out. You could put a round table and fit maybe 2 more chairs in here. I love that there's an additional pantry because you can put all your snacks and supplies. So for a smaller space, you have a ton of storage.
Yeah.
And then over here on this wall is a little bit of kind of, okay, how are we going to use the space? For us, I love these arch cabinets, so I just like that visually. It's kind of the bar area. We have the French press. So
well, you were gonna do a hutch or something.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to originally do a very long buffet, right, as a countertop, which you could totally do. I see that functioning really well with a very long buffet. Here's another idea. Maybe you are 2 people that are working from home. There's an office upstairs, but maybe you like to have your desk here.
That'd be a great place for a desk.
Great idea.
Great idea.
You're welcome.
You're great. No, but honestly, you often have a desk in the kitchen, so that would work really well. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. You are so smart and
so
pretty.
many things we could do. Okay, anywho, don't get me off track.
And embarrassed now.
I am so embarrassed. Okay, so moving on, the last thing that we have here on the main floor, we have a half bath. And I just love the use of pocket doors, right? And a more efficient space.
I love pocket doors all the time.
I know,
Not
I
all
hear
the
you.
time.
It's a good use of space.
This is a perfect spot for it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have a pocket door. We did add a window just so that visually from the outside, you can see a cool window. Obviously there's a blind there on the bathroom.
Yeah, the blind's always going to be down typically in a bathroom, but
it just looks nice from the exterior of the house.
Exactly. If you're not entertaining or something, then you can have the blinds up, and if you're here in the dining room, then you'll have that extra.
Following you.
Oh, catching up to me.
I love.
We were going to do the wraparound porch,
yeah.
but then it was a bit of a challenge with some of the side lot line setbacks.
Yeah.
So we just have steps down here. Still worth having this big slider, I think, because you can open up both, which we've done a lot, and it's just, you're basically outside. That's one of the cool things like about Maples, like this. You can open up these big windows and it's just, you're basically outside. All the wind just takes you over. I mean, you don't get blown away or anything, but you can feel like you're outside with the fresh air, which is really cool. Especially when, you know, we hate mosquitoes, right? So you can almost kind of enjoy the outdoors, but be inside with the screens and stuff like that.
And it just makes the space feel so much bigger, right? And if you're building this house, say you're in a city, you obviously, this lot here feels like a city lot. We're not too far from the neighbors, right? But you could build a fence, you could do different creative things. We planted a hedgerow. You know, if you have a fence there, you're not gonna see people next door. But look at this cool idea that Jeremy, so handy, so proud of him. We thought
big door, big heavy,
door.
Good quality door from United, 8x8. It's huge.
But I love this. Can we just talk about this real quick? We're sitting out on the porch, and just think, if you're near a street, if you're in a city and you're close to someone else, what's a way that we could feel more cozy and private with not completely blocking off the entire porch, because then it feels small. So we had this idea of sort of, you've seen them at restaurants, right? Like a privacy screen that has some cool foliage going on. So we built this, and it's just
trellising with artificial foliage. It took probably two hours to put up. It's, you know, not a big deal, but the effect on it's pretty awesome. So you're here, you don't have any sight line, you know, to the street. And sight lines are really big. You know, we're talking about inside with windows. Having clear sight lines out through make a small space seem a lot bigger. And then in terms of from the construction standpoint, you know, a lot of times when you build a covered porch, people frame the ceiling just underneath the frame, or the box frame of the structure. But it really doesn't cost, it's the same price to vault the ceiling and not do that that ceiling low. I love doing it this way. I love the vaulted ceiling. It just feels huge. Obviously you get the recessed lights, you have a box for a fan, and it just feels really cool. I also got these really cool vertical accent lights.
Yeah, that's really great.
So those are on a Wi-Fi switch. They can come on in the evening, turn off automatically. I think those are awesome. We put the string lights, which I think they can be overused a little bit, right? But I think they look pretty cool here.
Yeah.
I mean, you love string lights.
I do. It gives like a fun vibe. Okay. Now just imagine beautiful, lush green grass. Okay, it is a new build, so we just put the hay down, the finished seed. We're waiting for the grass. Come on. But behind me, you'll see this cute little courtyard area. So I think there's some unique spaces. Now I've been thinking about how to use it. I've just kind of, you can do lots of different things. If this is your own house, you could put a hot tub. I mean, how cute would that be in this little nook? You could put your grill over here. I'm thinking of some cafe bistro tables. Originally, I'm like some stones, some things. You could pretend like we're in Italy, like a little courtyard. You could do so much. There is a decent sized backyard, but it just shows you that there's these neat little nooks that you can really create individual spaces in themselves.
I think size-wise, we're 14 by 16, 16 by 16, somewhere in that range. So just as a point of reference, you know, a porch this big, you could do a dining room set or a living room set. If you want to do both, you really need to make it a little bit bigger. But you're right here off the dining room, so we decided to do a living room set here. I think it worked out well. Yeah.
All right. Should we take them to the rest of the house?
Let's go.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
What's the music?
Sorry, that's my warm-up dance. Let's do it.
So upstairs, there's a couple, like you said, there's a couple different layouts you can do.
Yeah.
Both have bedrooms on either end, and the one option has a bedroom here, slightly adjusted. It's a smaller bedroom for sure, but it would be a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. That's the one way. I think we have that plan on our website. This way has the primary bedroom at the front, and the secondary bedroom at the back, and we have this office, which I think lays out a lot better. Open railing as opposed to a half wall. Some people like a half wall. The open railing here I think goes really well because it's black, and it makes it feel even more open. This is pretty cool. Where'd you find this?
That's a good question. One of the many stores. At this point, it's all blur.
There's just stuff to put up. I did this in some rain.
You know what's so funny is sometimes I'm ordering and getting many different things. So sometimes I think that I have the measurements that we need, and then sometimes, like for example, this one came and I thought I had a perfect size for the chandelier.
The base for it was huge, right? I was like,
I read the measurement wrong.
The size of the whole
ceiling house. It was absurd. Like if you were going to put it in like Grand Central Station, it was an absurd light. So that didn't work. But I'll say one of the, you know, there's pros and cons, like Jeremy said. One of the cons is like sound, right? So if you really needed a quiet space in here as an office, you know, sound could potentially travel up. But I like,
like in a chalet, sometimes they do a half wall. So here's the office. We knew we needed a desk, but we originally were thinking like an L-shaped couch or something. I mean, it turned out really, really nicely.
I think a couple different ideas that we had. You could do a little sectional with a TV, not have a desk, have it be a second living room, right? If you have teenagers and you're downstairs and they want to be upstairs. We have a desk and office space.
But there's the big rec room in the basement.
There's a finished basement, but if you didn't have a finished basement, I'm just saying different options, right? Because when you customize the house, you really want to think about the function, like how do you need it to serve you and your needs. So you could put a TV there, we didn't. But really a sitting area, maybe you homeschool, so you could do a desk up here, like a more working project area desk. You could, if you love reading, right, this could be your reading nook. There's so much. Maybe you're a sewer. Okay, you could have a sewing table. Okay, so lots of different things. I think that's the main thing to think about when you're designing and building a home is write down on a list what are your needs and how do you want to use the space, and then work from there.
If you can get most of them, then that's a good landing.
Yeah, like something you might
never get everything typically.
Like I wanted to make sure there was a checkers table because I don't know if you know this, but Jeremy's favorite hobby, he does it every single day, is play checkers. And
an amazing checkers.
That's not true, but I mean, just fun little checkers table.
Okay, so we'll talk about some of the pieces that you've got. This is Value City, right?
Yeah, so one of the cool things, I know that in the past, Value City could have a stigma, but I don't know if you knew this, that they have a new design team. Whoever's doing their design and marketing there is doing a great job. They have more things that are on trend. I've actually been pretty impressed when I went in there, and we have a great relationship with a local store here in Buffalo, and this is a piece that I just love the color. It's like a burnt umber, a little nod to Bob Ross.
And it has good lines. Rounded back and very slim. So it's not too bulky for the space.
Exactly. And then we've just mishmashed some of the furniture. I love Studio McGee. I love if you're looking at transitional design, I follow Studio McGee. I follow her stuff. She has a show. It's great. This is actually a line she did for Target. And then this is actually John's favorite map in the whole world. He did a separate video on it. Fun little story. John, why do you love this map so much?
The man behind the camera.
There's a whole continent missing from this map.
Who cares? It's Antarctica, John. Get over it.
Nobody's been there anyway, so it's totally fine.
Don't you know Hobby Lobby?
I think it's where the Transformers area is down there, right?
This is a Hobby Lobby map. They just don't like
they keep
Antarctica.
The lasers down
Well,
there.
they probably don't have a a store down there, so.
Hobby Lobby, you know, that's why people are hating on Hobby Lobby. They're like, see, they don't like Antarctica.
It's closed.
Okay, so where are we going next?
Going into the primary bedroom.
Primary bedroom. It's not a primary suite. So one thing you'll notice about the upstairs bedrooms is that there's a full bath in the middle. So usually the primary suite, right, would have an attached bathroom. This one does not, but there's one in the middle. But
there's only so much space.
There's only so much space, okay? You want to use it wisely.
You probably
so in here,
could put a bathroom there, but it would be cramped. Right?
Yeah,
It's a trade-off.
For me, having a decent-sized closet space is great. You'll see the size, just to give you an idea. Now, when you're walking through a house that isn't furnished, it feels smaller. Isn't that weird? It kind of messes with your mind. But when you have furniture in a space, it makes it feel larger. So if you're walking through or you're looking at a floor plan and you don't have the furniture laid out, it can feel like, oh my gosh, this is really small. This is a king bed, and there's plenty of space for a king bed. We love the transom window as an accent. And there's 2 nightstands with still a ton of space on either side.
Yep.
We even have a sitting chair over here, right, and a little side table, a 6-drawer dresser, a TV, hooks, luggage racks, and then what's behind door number 3?
Well, Johnny, I'm glad you asked.
Stop it. We have a decent sized closet in here.
No, it's pretty big.
Yeah. Okay.
That's quite big. I mean, for a smaller house, it's pretty big. And I mean, you could do California closets in here.
Right.
Fabuwood has a line for custom closets, but it's a model home, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have, again, a ton of windows, but we have those blackout curtains.
Solid core 2-panel doors.
Oh yeah, I like
You
that.
love solid core doors.
Yes,
I think it makes it feel
substantial.
richer. Yeah,
Just like
more
right?
luxurious. When
So
you get mad at me, slam the door.
More
right?
dramatic
It really has
effect.
more. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's check out on the other side as we're walking to the other bedroom. One of my favorite features, I'll talk about this first and then we'll go to the full bath. One of my favorite features is a laundry that's on the upstairs level, okay? It's a stacked washer and dryer, but I think it's great. As a mom with 3 little ones, right, to have that and you don't have to like go all the way to the basement and running up and down. And
Pantry closets are super useful as well.
This is where you can keep your laundry stuff in here, but all of your linens and extras.
So organized.
And our full bath up here is a pretty nice size. We did just a standard tub shower combo. We like the glass doors. I think that it just adds like clean lines to it. So we did the sliding glass doors, hooks. I love this window. And then the windows, did you talk about the windows?
I did.
Already?
I do like the crankouts though, because then if it's raining, you don't have to worry about water coming in.
So we got the crank out windows.
Well,
I'm worried.
it's locked right now.
I was like worried.
Unlock it.
I was worried I was going to do that wrong. Okay, I haven't done this.
Oh no, now it's locked.
No,
Sorry.
okay. Guys, a lot of pressure. First time doing this.
You got it.
Okay, and oh, look at that. Am I doing this right? Okay.
No, it's upside down. Flip the handle.
Flip it?
Flip the handle, I think.
Oh, this is embarrassing. I should have practiced before the camera.
Let me see. Yeah, this flips like that.
Oh, there we go.
There's your little
that makes
twirly
sense.
But it is a nice...
It's so easy. Even a child can do it.
That's right. But I do like these united windows. They're really substantial, and the black on black's nice. Yeah, there's your locks.
Perfect.
It's good.
Okay. So another great size bedroom. This is a queen bed. So just to give you a reference, right, of size, queen bed, 2 nightstands, again with a nice windows for lots of light. This closet is a little bit smaller, but still a pretty good size. There's a little, it kind of ducks in here, so we have a laundry basket, hangers, you know, just the basic
This is a great
standard
piece.
stuff in there.
This is a great piece.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about your design is that you pick a bunch of different things that go really well together, but they're not too matchy. I mean, this is a completely different piece than the side table. So can you talk, because I know you were out the other day and someone said, can I hire you to design my house? And you said,
yeah, I love design.
You know,
I do.
I don't do that, but you helped her out a little bit, helped her find some stuff. So just talk a little bit, how did you put this room together? How did you start? Kind of how did it evolve? Because a lot of it's just sort of, you go with the flow, right?
It's a little bit of evolution. I start with something. So one, I've always loved design. I love being creative, artistic, and interior design is a way for me to kind of express my creativity, so I find it fun. In here, for example, I went with like the overall, I want to do transitional. If you have a style that you like, right, just go and look at some pictures. And if one's like, this is kind of like, oh, I like that. Like whatever you're drawn to, that's probably what makes you happy. It sparks joy. So in transitional design, I started just like looking up some inspiration ideas. Like what are they using? They're using some darker brown woods, right? They're using mixes of golds. They're mixing metals. And so like a coziness, a richness to it with mixing. For example, this is an Amber Lewis chair. It's actually from Anthropology. We love this store. I felt like I hit the gold mine when I found it. It's the Anthro Home Outlet. It's outside of Pittsburgh. It's 20 minutes from the house I grew up in. So when we go home, we just always go there. Now the bad thing is once you buy it, you have to wrap it and bring it all home yourself. They do not ship it, so you have to go down there. But we have found some unicorn pieces. I mean, let me just tell you, for example, this is Amber Lewis is a designer. I love green. That's like, obviously I'm wearing green. I love green. I love the velvet. I love the wood. I love the stitching, the leather. It's a beautiful chair. And you know, usually these are $1,000+ you know, chair, we got it for $500. Now like an accent chair, that might be a little more than we were willing to spend, but this is really an art piece. And then when you're doing a little nook, you kind of want to, in the way you style it, right? You have a floor lamp. I like adding some texture. It kind of brings in with the rest of the room. Some gold, you have some metal, some concrete. So you kind of are adding different elements to kind of draw your eye into this space. And then over here, this is another piece we loved. It was like a $1,600 dresser, and we got it for $350. Like, it's beautiful. I just love all of the details. And then we create little nooks. I have a friend who does thrifting, and she finds some really neat crystals, treasures. She finds some neat things, and so I like to kind of sprinkle in things. And then adding I do this last, right? I add the artwork last. I start with the bed. So I started with the frame, the nightstands. Okay, now that we have in the frame and the nightstands, I go for the area rug. And this area rug, I'm really kind of like some plaids, some neutral textures, and then I had an idea that I have lines on here. So you don't want to do like lines and lines. So you have lines, and then you want to do like, you could mix it with a floral or a solid. So I mixed it with a floral, and then I added textures. And then I thought, okay, I create little nooks on the nightstands, and then above the bed, what am I going to put above the bed? You can do pictures. I happen to have these from another thing that I was designing. So I said I'm going to use these wreaths. And then I go from there, and then I'm like, oh, I like the feel of this chair in here. Then I create that area. Then I kind of fill in, I have this space. What color dresser? I didn't want to do matchy-matchy with the rest of it. I wanted it to complement, but I wanted it to be different. So that's sort of how I build the space and the design, and then I kind of take it one room at a time. That, for me, I like to kind of be more methodical in what I'm doing in my decisions. Jeremy's a little more spur of the moment, spontaneous.
No, I mean, you know, you use me as a sounding board sometimes.
Yeah.
Do I like the piece or do I not?
Yeah.
I love that piece. It's great. You can build around the piece.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things for someone who's not as maybe gifted as you naturally on design, give a couple of tips. Like, one that comes to mind is, for one of the things that you do is you wait for the right piece.
Yeah.
And so you don't necessarily just go and settle for a full set that you're not really happy with. You might get a bed and nightstands, but then you want something a little bit more unique. You'll wait to find it. This didn't have to be here right away. We could have waited months until we found that right piece. And it didn't have to be this one. It could be any number of a few different ones, but this went. So like you're talking about, there's always options, but talk a little bit about some of those little tips.
Yeah, I think about color and contrast. So the walls in this home, we've all just kept like a nice creaminess. It's actually Studio McGee, Shea McGee. It's the color that they use in their own house. So I'm like, why am I trying to recreate the wheel, right? Like somebody who's really good at what she does, this is what she used. It's like alabaster at 75%. It was a whole equation. I'm like, great. If she did it, it's going to look good. So we did that for the whole house. And then from there, I said, I want to have a contrast. So I pulled in the darker brown because if you notice in the kitchen, there was kind of that richer Kona wood. So I wanted some of that richness of the wood, which is coming back because like the dark brown woods were out. Now like it's like gray's out. And now they're trying to say, hey, just put in what you like. It's all about what you like, right? At the end of the day, if we're not like all interior designers, we're not going to be on HGTV. You got to just really love your home and like what you put in there, okay? It's your home. It serves you, okay? As this ain't HGTV, you don't have to worry about what they think, okay? So just find some pieces that you like, and if you're stuck, Google. So for me, I'm like, what size bed should be in this bedroom, and where should you lay it out, and how much space should you be between your headboard and your artwork? There's like equations where things look good. And then you kind of use that as a starting point.
That's a good point, because sometimes you go into houses and artwork won't be at the right height. And you'll go in and it might just feel a bit off.
And you don't know why it's off.
You don't know why it's off because you're not, I mean, these are great. You found these where on the bottom of the in the garage or something
that we had.
You had these wreaths somewhere. It was great. It looks
texture.
great.
So just mix textures, right? Mixing wovens and metals and greenery, lots of different things. Okay, so
basement.
Last but not least, yes. So the basement.
So this is the top box. All of this box was done off-site. All of the first box was done off-site. So what had to be done on-site was this railing was shipped loose, so this was put in on-site. This handrail was shipped loose. This had to be put on-site. The stairs were set on set day, and the drywall here, where the two floors come together, has to be done on-site. That's the stitching and the seaming that we're talking about when we say the stitching and seaming is required to be done on-site. It's the connection points. Everything beyond the connection points, we connect it structurally, but you have to do the cosmetic connections on site. Everything else was done off-site. All of the kitchen was in off-site. The countertops, those always get done on-site because we don't want to fear cracking during shipping. But flooring was all done off-site. Now in the basement comes unfinished. So this is a 9-foot basement. The stairs you have to get from a local millworks provider. Usually they're $600 or $700. They'll you measure from the subfloor to the concrete floor. You give them the width. They'll come drop it off. You screw it in, and then you have to build your basement wall. Okay, and then that's it if it's an unfinished basement. This is a finished basement, superior walls. So all the drywall is against the metal studs of the superior walls, which is great. And we could show you maybe a peek of the superior walls, but they're pre-bored for your electrical wiring. And so you're ready for drywall. Well, electric, then you drywall, then your flooring and trim, and you're done. This has, the original plan for the basement was 2 bedrooms, right, with an office here. And we decided, because we wanted a little bigger second living room space, we put the living room, we sort of have an office or a card table, and then a full bedroom and a bathroom. But we have 2 full egress windows. And so what's an egress window? A window that's big enough for an adult person to get out of if there was a house fire. There might be a house fire, God forbid, and you can't get up through the stairs. That's a second point of egress. So there's always, each house, each floor always has to have 2 forms of egress. And so, your bedroom, you have a door egress, and then you have a window egress. And so that's important when you're laying out your basement design. Do you want an additional egress window for a potential second bedroom? But also this is an egress window for a living room, just for the natural light. Sure, you have the window well, but I mean, the natural light makes it feel like a living room as opposed to just having these small awning windows or glass block windows. Superior Walls has a standard option for these awning windows, which is sort of takes the place of a glass block window. So another point of note is that, so they are 9-foot ceilings, or 9-foot wall on the basement wall. And then it's nice to have the 9-foot because you can see when you run ductwork, this is where our ductwork is, that drops it down to maybe just above 8 feet. So that's kind of nice. It feels really big. You can do a drop ceiling, as well. That's an easy way to do it, but we wanted to make it, drop ceiling's great. We did, you can do black, different kind of decorative ones, but if you can do drywall, it really kind of makes it feel more like,
finished.
The integrated portion of the home.
Yeah, it feels a little more polished. And then we're taller people. He's 6'3", I'm 5'10". Just that little extra height really just feels more open in here.
And the 9-foot on the first floor as well. I mean, that makes I think makes a big difference.
So just wanted to show you how much space, right, that you really have. This is an awesome second living room, like movie room. You have a huge TV, big sectional. This is a pull-out bed, so full bed pulls out.
Where's the couch from?
This is a Raymore and Flanagan couch, pull out. Great price. And then we have just some TV consoles under here. You could have your workout stuff in here. This could be a playroom.
But hang on. This is a great design thing. Just two of the same. You couldn't find one really long one.
Yes.
You got two of the same. It looks
It's actually
phenomenal.
a place that I've used quite a bit. If you're not familiar with Nathan James, basically Nathan James makes kind of on-trend furniture for really affordable prices. So I've gotten bar stools, consoles, sconces, like light fixtures. So definitely check out Nathan James. And yeah, I needed a longer console, so we just put two together. And then around here, what you could do is, this is really a second workspace if you need another place.
This is an actual dining room table.
It is.
But you can use it,
Desk, workspace, and you can play cards, puzzles, all the things. So there's, as you can see, plenty of space in here. It doesn't feel claustrophobic. And then one of my favorite areas, behind under the stair area, you can do these cute little nooks. So I'm still working on this. It's still not quite done, but I found this awesome kitchen on Facebook Marketplace. It looks just like upstairs. I thought it was super cute. So I have a little kitchen area, play areas. I just have toys, so I'm going to get like a little ride-on, like store a little ride-on. And so here's some ideas, because I've done this with my own kids in these little nooks. You can have a reading area. You could put string lights up with like a little chair, and those spice racks, you can get them from IKEA. They're like wooden spice racks. If you put a couple of those on the walls, it actually is a great way to hold books. So I've done that on the wall. So it could be a reading nook. It could be, a little fort area. There's so much that you could do, or just store stuff, right? If you don't have kids, you just need storage under the stairs. Perfect place. So we have our other full bathroom behind me. This one's a little more compact, but still efficient. I like the mirror that we did on here because it's one of those ones you can press the mirror, adjust the temperature of the bulbs, but then it also has the fog feature. So you press the little squiggly lines after you take a shower, and it just like defogs the mirror. It's very magical.
Nice for makeup too, right?
Yeah,
right mirror.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you can see we've used these, good use of space above the toilet. And then our shower. Jeremy, do you want to talk about what sort of insert we used here?
It's just an insert.
It's a standard insert.
It's just an insert.
There we
but
are.
I will point out there's
I like
the
these
hatch
little
above your
shelves.
head.
Oh.
So you'll have certain access panels in the basement for sure, for water shut off, for gas shut off, these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. I like the little built-in shelves. And then we have our other full bedroom. So as you can see in here, we've kind of, look how many beds you can fit. Okay, if you have a large family and you need lots of beds, you can fit 2 full beds and a twin. So 5 people can sleep in here. But really would make a very nice size room if you just had 1 bed in here. You could have a little lounge area if you have like a teenager, right, hanging out down here.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized bedroom. Probably as similar as the primary bedroom, right?
Yeah.
So
But a smaller
pretty
closet.
good size closet. I mean, it's just and then the other side is a utility closet. So you can see this is the superior walls. Here's the superior walls that the drywall goes against. Pretty awesome product. And then we've got the Navian tankless hot water heater, sump pump. Here's your water line in from the street. Here's your sewer line. You got to, so you always need a mechanical closet. And there was that furnace closet over that we didn't point out, but you always have to have a furnace closet, water closet, this kind of thing. Well, not water closet. Water closet's English.
That is
for
an
bathroom.
English term, yes. Yes. We could
Water
do
tank closet is what I meant.
Something I want to point out about the design, we did just a nod to Buffalo. Okay, we're in Buffalo. We did a nod to Buffalo decor. A great little local place is Oxford Pennant. So I've gotten a ton of pennants before. I did the Buffalo pennants in here, but they have a ton of pendants, camp flags.
What about this poster? Looks cool.
And then this is so fun. I was looking again on Facebook Marketplace and I found this vintage Bills poster that I just thought was great. And a little neon light, so just picturing, kids being in here. But again, mixing textures. So if we're using, I did the denim. I like the denim duvet covers because it has, I was trying to pull out the blues, but I didn't want it to be too masculine. I wanted it to be kind of more neutral. So I just did the stripes and then I added some of the suede leather
can I just
material.
Say,
yes.
Can I just say,
yes.
you do
it depends
an amazing,
what you're gonna say.
You do an amazing job with not too many pillows.
Oh,
right.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Not too many pillows. Right, like look.
The beginning of our marriage, we used to fight about all the pillows in the bed. I love the look of like lots of fluffy pillows. And he's like, can
comment
we stop
below
having
if your wife has too many pillows on the bed. I mean, it's a problem for some people.
But you want it to look
You've
cozy and
reduced the
styled.
number of pillows over the years.
If there's just 2 sleeping pillows, it just looks
maybe I've
stark.
thrown out. Well, okay.
And so then he's like, all these pillows, he'd always complain. And then as a joke, I would take all the pillows and I'd like purposely put them on like his side. So he'd be like, not be able to walk.
But
okay?
this is cool. I mean, this is really
15 years married now. Okay, we're not fighting over pillows anymore.
This is great taste with the leather. I love that. That's awesome with the denim. You already pointed that out. I think it looks great.
And then the blue and red, the buffalo color.
So hopefully this is inspiring to you. You probably don't want this house necessarily. Maybe you do, but the reason why we want to do these designs is because we want to inspire you and your vision and add value to your vision. And so if you are interested in building a house, call us. We're going to try to understand what it is you're trying to achieve. We're going to try to find a floor plan, help you find a floor plan, customize it to meet your needs. Because we're not living there, you're living there. We're going to add value to your project ideas from our experience so that you get the best home. And along the way, if we can share some great design tips and stuff like that for interior design, we're happy to do that as well. But it starts with a good floor plan on your lot. And we're happy to kind of come along that process with you. So I'll give you the last word.
No, so thanks for watching, and this was really fun. We enjoy doing these things together. We like a shared project. I was joking kind of like 15 years that we don't fight about pillows anymore. But one thing that we have...
Shared hobbies are great.
Shared hobbies. It's all about
you gotta grow together
hobbies.
As a couple.
I mean, are there times where we're working 18-hour days like we have been for the last 10 days, and it's just like, all right, okay, we just need to... I'm going to go do a project in the other room, okay? But no, working together, and I think being able to design and create for us brings us a lot of joy. So we like trying to bring ideas to life and listening what people need and what your family needs, and trying to have your dreams become a reality as well. So thanks for watching and have a great day. Let's go Buffalo.
I was hoping you were going to say Merry Christmas.
Did I say that last time?
Leave that one in.
Did I say that last time?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.